As adults, parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, we make it our mission to keep the kids we love safe. The fact is that 1 in 10 children will be sexually abused before the age of 18. It's a staggering reality.
One local organization is dedicated to the safety of our community kids by promoting awareness and assisting victims and their families. We stopped by the Child First Advocacy Center during the inaugural Blue Week celebration to find out more about this organization and its invaluable mission. The month of April is nationally designated as Prevent Child Abuse Month. Blue pinwheels across the county are a recognizable reminder. Recently, Rutland City took the movement a step further, officially proclaiming the last week in April as Blue Week. The men and women in this room work to protect, support, and advocate for children and families affected by abuse. For Rutland County State's Attorney Rose Kennedy, what happens here is a pivotal mission.
I'm here to celebrate Blue Week, which is a week meant to bring awareness to child abuse and neglect, and I'm happy to be here, especially at the Child First Advocacy Center, because they do so much for our community, and I don't think that people really understand what they do. But this is the division that is responsible for investigating all severe child abuse cases and all sexual assault cases on children and adults, but specifically for this week on children. And so, we only have 2.5 detectives assigned to this unit, handling a huge caseload, which in these cases are so time consuming and take a lot of energy to build rapport with the kids and to actually figure out what happens. So it's a great way to come here, also to recognize the good work that DCF does in trying to protect kids that are in our community.
The Child Advocacy Center itself is a nonprofit organization which houses the Rutland Unit for Special Investigations. What that means is we are co-located with law enforcement. We have Vermont State Police, we have Rutland City, we have a Rutland County Sheriff, and we also have Department of Children and Families that are co-located at all times.
For the 2 full-time and 1 part-time detectives, there isn't enough time in the day. Individual cases take hours of investigation. In 2015, the DCF Rutland Family Service Office received 1,892 reports of child abuse or neglect. Here at the Child First Advocacy Center, its caseload is increasing. Clearly, 2.5 detectives is not enough.
The need for more law enforcement is it's out there. I mean, we have, in 2015 calendar year, we had 199 cases through here. As of right now, from January 1st until yesterday's date, our count is 277 of children and families that we've served. So the ability for law enforcement to continue to do their job and do their job well, to DCF to do their job well, is to just make sure we maintain those resources as best we can. And that's really the big pertinent piece that we're really trying to make sure happens soon.
Detective Corporal Ed Dumas is one of the 2 full-time officers assigned to CFAC.
These cases are probably the most in-depth investigations you have to do. You have to spend a lot of time on them. And the kickback from them is this: if we don't do something about this, these cases will affect children or victims, women, men, doesn't matter. It's going to affect them the rest of their lives. And if we do nothing, 20 years from now, they're going to say things that they didn't do anything to help me. But if we can do something to help those people, we can change our community long term, because this is a generational thing. It's going to affect not only the families immediately today, but when those children become adults, it's going to affect them and their families. And it's a trickle-down effect over the generations. I think I have approximately 40 cases I'm working on right now. Okay, if you do the math, if you have 40 active cases and they all take 2 or 3 weeks of constant work, and some I haven't even interviewed all the people yet on. So yeah, it takes, even if I take a month for each case, how many years is that to catch up? That's if I don't get any new cases. So if I get immediate case where there's somebody, a child or a woman who's been raped or a man has been raped, if that takes precedent, I have to get this person, the perpetrator, immediately. All the other stuff sits while I work on this case here to put that person behind bars where they need to be, if in fact they've committed a crime.
While the investigations of these reports are left to the professionals, there is a personal responsibility for every member of our community. According to Rose Kennedy, in the most simple terms, follow your gut. If you suspect abuse or neglect, report it, because the repercussions are immeasurable.
What children are living through right now will affect not only them as they grow up to be adults, but it will affect their children as well. So we really need to do everything we can as a community to try to end abuse today so that we're not dealing with repercussions of that abuse for a couple generations.
The blue pinwheels serve as a reminder for our community to continue the conversation surrounding this issue.
It's very much about talking about it. There's people still kind of have the idea of if we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist type thing, but the reality is we need to openly talk about it. We need kids to realize that we are, adults are available to help keep them safe, and that's not just our job, but what we put ourselves into in the community. Talking about it as, you just walking down the streets, you at home, at schools, daycares, wherever, just openly talking about it.
To find out more about the Child First Advocacy Center and how it's helping kids and families end the cycle of abuse, visit its website at childfirstvermont.org. To report any suspected abuse at any time, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-649-5285.